Last Monday, 13 police officers were killed in an ambush in the Mexican state of Michoacan when they were attempting to serve a single warrant. On Thursday, the city of Culiacan and the cartel stronghold of Sinaloa became a war zone. A military operation to arrest a son of imprisoned cartel leader El Chapo was met with armed cartel members who shut the city down and took soldiers hostage. These were extraordinary instances of violence, says University of San Diego professor Ev Mead, but they aren't typical of how cartel-related violence has played out for the past few years in Mexico. Instead, violence has been focused on members of civil society, like politicians and activists. Mead has studied peace-building efforts in Mexico amidst the drug war.
It's not just that there's more violence either, because the actual quantity of violence ebbs and flows. It's that ordinary civilians, and particularly people who are doing any kind of civic activity that seeks to reinforce the rule of law, they've become targets in a way that they weren't 10 years ago, even at the beginning of this thing.
As the violence has become more distributed throughout society in Mexico, the number of Mexicans arrested at the U.S. southern border has steadily risen, bucking a years-long decline. Mexicans arrested by U.S. Border Patrol at the southern border rose by 25% from the end of July to the end of September, according to statistics compiled by the Washington Post. In immigration court in San Diego, many Mexican asylum seekers hail from the rural state of Michoacan.
Particularly in some of these rural communities, I think people just feel incredibly vulnerable. I mean, if you look at the last election cycle in Mexico and the level of political violence, it's incredible. There were almost 500 incidents of violence against candidates and poll workers just in the 6 months leading up to the 2018 election. You know, we've had more than 80 mayors killed in Mexico.
With Mexican President Andrés Manuel López Obrador facing calls to intensify his response to cartel violence, Mexico is once again at a crossroads for how to stop the killing. Both increased enforcement or allowing the cartels to continue to target wide swaths of society will probably lead to further bloodshed. Max Rivlin-Nadler, KPBS News.